My name is Gabriel, but you can call me Gabe, and I have worked in the marketing and advertising world for the past 12 years. I am a photographer, a videographer, a designer, a myriad of things. And I have worked for the most successful people in the sales industry. Now, I don't do this to brag, but just see me as a trustworthy source. Okay, what's the first topic that we need to discuss in order to understand how we are going to launch our brand? Well, the first topic that we're going to discuss is the indoctrination process. Okay, let's make this very simple. Let's just Google the word indoctrination. Siri, can you please tell me the definition of the word indoctrination?
Indoctrination means the process of teaching a person or group to accept a set of beliefs uncritically.
And that is correct, folks. The process of teaching a person or group to accept a set of beliefs uncritically. In other words, before we show up into the marketplace and present our product and expect people to buy it, we need to establish ourselves as an authority. Alright, let's discuss the indoctrination process further. We are going to see this as a funnel, and we are going to divide it in 3 steps. This is going to be step number 1, step number 2, and here's going to be step number 3. And what's our objective? Our objective is obviously to make a sale, right? This is what we want. We want to make a sale. But before we make our first sale, we need to introduce ourselves. We need to establish ourselves as an authority. And how do we do that? Well, we do that by talking about the problems that we can solve. For example, in my case, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Gabriel, right? Hi. My name is Gabriel. And I am a photographer. I am a videographer, filmmaker. I am a designer. I have experience in social media and on marketing. This is how we establish ourselves as an authority. This is where we talk the problems that we can solve, and this is where we tell our story. Okay, the step number 2 is where we're gonna earn trust by providing value. And how we can provide value and earn trust? Well, we can start by doing a free ebook, right? This is a good way to start. What else we can do? We can do a free webinar. We can do free how-to content. For example, top 3 content. Okay, so we are clear on that, right? Before we make our first sale, we need to introduce ourselves, right? We need to talk about the problems that we can solve, and we need to tell our story. Then we're going to provide value in an exchange of trust. We're gonna start earning the customer's trust by providing value. Value plus trust. Then, once we have done already these first 2 steps, now we can present our product and expect people to buy it. Okay, I would like to keep illustrating this further for you to get a better understanding. So what we're gonna do is we're going to compare the indoctrination process with a relationship. Because essentially what a brand is a relationship with our customers. Like we said before, our objective with our brand is to make a sale, right? Well, here, for example, let's say that you're in love with a guy or a girl, and your objective is to get married, right? So our objective here, it's gonna be marriage. Small diamond, right? Okay. Before we get married, we need to go through a few steps, correct? So this is gonna be step number 1, step number 2, and step number 3. So before you get married, what do, right? You first become friends, right? You guys become friends. You see if you guys have things in common, things like that. Then you go on a date, right? You go on a date. You go to the movies, restaurants, for a nice dinner. You go to a party. Blah, blah. Stuff like that. You get it, right? And then, if you guys like each other that much, you will eventually become boyfriend or girlfriend. So it's the same process. Remember that we spoke about introduce ourselves and talking about the problems that we solve and we tell our story. Well, here you become friends and you talk to see if you guys have things in common, correct? Then on step number 2, remember that you provide value and earn trust. Well, here you go to the movies, to the restaurants, you go to the party, and you guys engage with each other and develop that relationship, correct? Before, the objective was to make a sale, where here the sale is to get married. So it's the same thing. And that is correct, folks. You can go on that first date and ask that girl to marry you, but the chances of her saying yes are gonna be very, very low. The brand is the same thing. Moving on with the next topic, but before we continue, it'll be very nice if you consider subscribing to the channel. Please consider subscribing to the channel. Click the button. It's the red button to the right side. Thank you. How do we constantly keep our customers engaged with our brand? How do we constantly provide value and awareness to our customers? And how do we keep our customers waking up in the morning thinking about our brand and going to bed at night and still think about our brand? Well, the answer is omnipresence. Omnipresence is the ability to be present everywhere, all the time, all at once. Now let's talk about how can your brand become omnipresent. Let's talk about the free ways. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, LinkedIn. Let's talk about the paid ones. Let's say that you have a budget. Well, you can do Google ads, you can do Facebook ad managers, you can do banners, brochures. The list goes on and on and on. Okay, let's talk about how omnipresence works. Let's talk about what's the benefit of omnipresence. When your brand is present everywhere, all the time, all at once, you are able to reach more people. You are able to appear in front of more potential customers. Consequently, that will translate in a higher percentage of your brand generating more sales. All right, moving on to our next topic. Our next topic is going to be company versus brand. And there is a big difference between a company and a brand. And there are two mindsets in which these entities approach the market. Allow me to explain. Mindset number 1, it's gonna be the infinite mindset, an infinite player. Let's put it right here. The other one, it's gonna be called the finite mentality, the finite mindset. Finite. By the way, there are no right or wrong answers here or choices. This is just the way it is. And our infinite mindset, it's gonna be a brand. The brands are the ones that have a infinite mindset, a brand. And they are the one that understand that sometimes you're ahead and sometimes you are behind. They also believe that there are no fixed rules and they understand that there is no finish line. Now, the companies are the ones that have a finite mentality, a finite mindset. This is gonna be company. A finite company are the ones that are always competing against everyone else. And they are the ones that have a limited creativity. Now, why they have limited creativity? They have limited creativity because they are improving on what everyone else is doing and not on ideas that they came up with. Companies are all about maximizing revenue. Companies are all about making money, and there's nothing wrong with that. But brands are all about having an impact in the community. Brands are all about improving the quality of life. Brands are all about supporting your local charity. Brands understand that it's not about how much money you make, instead of how much people you can help. Now let me dig deeper here. You cannot measure the success of a brand by sitting in a desk looking at a spreadsheet. The success of a brand is measured on profit and on impact in the community. For example, Nike is a brand, Reebok is a company. Another example, Steve Jobs from Apple. When he invented the iPad, he wasn't thinking about making a profit. He was thinking about how can I help teachers teach? Infinite mindset. Now the question is, who do you want to be? When the time comes to start selling our product, it is very easy to talk about our product just mentioning the features. But there is a big difference when we talk about the benefits. Features are a part of your product or service, while benefits is the positive impact that it has on your customers. All right, let's do an exercise. Let's try to sell this Sharpie.
Sell me this pen.
We're gonna try to sell it the mediocre way, the way that only talks about the features, okay? Sharpie. Write on metal, wood, plastic, on a photo. It comes on 30 colors. Sharpie. All right, let's try to sell this now, implementing the benefits. Are you ready? Here we go. Write out loud that $1 million idea, that girl or guy of your dreams' phone number, or just your favorite artist's autograph. Writing things down helps clarify goals, priorities, and it keeps you motivated. A sleek and professional design, a must in every office and in any creative environment. Sharpie, written out loud. Sold! Let's talk about a copywriting strategy that I used to come up with this offer, and it's called the 3P's strategy. The first P, it's gonna be purpose. The second P is gonna be promise. And the third P, it's gonna be proof. Proof. What I'm trying to do here is I want to provide you with a system that will help you sell your product. Now on purpose, what we're trying to do is we're trying to persuade someone into making next step. Also, we're trying to make someone to make an inquiry. And we want to persuade someone into look for further information. Okay, now on promise, what we want to do with the promise is we want to capture people's imagination. What you could do is to use the term of 9 out of 10 businesses grow when they buy my product. Something around those lines. On proof is where you explain your product. And on proof, it's where you quote scientific, for example, scientific studies. Now moving on to our last topic. Our last topic is going to be the advertising myth. I cannot describe how true this is. This topic deserves a unicorn as a visual representation. And I've heard it all. We can't afford it. Advertising is the same as PR. Our firm has enough business. People ignore paid ads. Online advertising is complicated. You can't effectively target a local market. Our industry reputation is advertising enough. Now, I'm gonna give you 3 things to look at if your advertising is not working. Number 1, the message. Make sure that your message and your offer goes accordingly in every platform you are advertising. For example, you are running a huge banner on the highway. You are doing Google ads and you're also doing email. Make sure that your message and your offers is the same on every platform. Number 2, design. Make sure your design goes accordingly if you are advertising in multiple platforms. And last but not least, make sure that you have team members with sales training, with the ability of picking up the phone and close any deal. Alright folks, that is it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and always remember, people don't buy products and services, people buy transformation. That's what you're really buying, okay? Don't forget to follow me on Instagram. My handle is Gabriel the Creator 1, and please consider subscribing to the channel. Last but not least, the only way to earn value in life, it's by helping and inspiring others. Let's go!